Ah, Air Combat, the game that became one of my most beloved series to date. Named Ace Combat in Japan, the series took place in 1995 on the PlayStation 1. Now the question I want to ask is, how does this game hold up in 2026? I'll be discussing the gameplay, sound design, levels, and more to see if this game would be a good starting point for the series, or if it is better off remembered as the foundation that started it all. Let's get ready to delve into Air Combat. To start with gameplay, the controls were quite simple because the controller offered with the PlayStation 1 initially. The first controller didn't have joysticks, so many of the fine movements the series is known for is non-existent. Each D-pad direction turns the plane in its respective direction without the ability to do rolls or any sorts of maneuvers to dodge incoming attacks. And there is no rudder control in this title either. R1 accelerates the plane while L1 decelerates, and the point of view can be changed from first person to third person with the select button. Targets can be changed with triangle, missiles fire with circle, the machine gun is fired with cross, and the map can be enlarged with square. That's it for the controls, and more functions will be added as the series continues, so we won't cover those until they come up for their respective games. The music for this game is a mixture of electronic with rock and roll, and most levels have their own soundtrack, so it keeps things fresh throughout the playthrough. There is a co-pilot in each jet you fly who calls out enemy locations throughout the fight, and there will be plenty of bingos belted out from him as enemy craft are downed. The explosions from missiles have a nice crunch that would be expected on the PlayStation 1, and the machine gun feels straight out of an action movie with its sounds, especially when shots land on enemy craft. The entire pace of music and overall sound is quite fast in this game, and there will be times where the co-pilot can't keep up with it all. The victory jingle is quite catchy and fits the rest of the game. So overall, the sound in Air Combat is quite solid for the time it was made. The levels of Air Combat set the groundwork for the entire series, and there are only a few types of missions that don't show up in this title compared to future releases. Missions in this game are quite short though, as there is a limited amount of fuel given for each flight. There are also 17 missions in Air Combat, so the game ranges around the 2-hour mark to do a playthrough. The first sets of missions involve taking down bombers with their escorts. Then from there escalates to full facilities that need to be destroyed. Tunnel missions begin sprinkling in, and it tops the game off with a fight against an experimental bomber. For new Ace Combat fans out there, this is the bread and butter for the series. Each mission begins with a planning stage where Command fills in the details for objectives and what types of enemies will be there, along with a map to show locations of assets. The only nitpick I have with this approach is that there isn't much of a story to be drawn from the events here other than an enemy faction is attacked and the pilot in this game has been hired to take them out. The Strange Real universe has not yet been created, so it's debated if this game takes place within that timeline or not, but I personally say it is. That just about covers most of the game without spoiling too much, so I hope this has piqued some interest in this title. Even though the game feels quite rough compared to later titles, it does a great job for laying down the groundwork that has been built upon since. The biggest question is now, is Air Combat worth your time? I'd say if you're an Ace Combat fan and want to delve into what started the series, dive right on in. It'll only take a couple of hours of your life, and the game holds a special place in the hearts of many in the community, me included. If you are new to the series and want a game that will hook you right in, I wholeheartedly think you should start elsewhere. Air Combat plays differently enough from future titles that I'd recommend any of the titles that include joysticks, which is thankfully most of them. If you made it to this part of the video, I want to thank you for your time hanging out with me and hearing about one of my favorite series. I plan on making more of these types of videos in the future as I continue my Playing Ace Combat Until Wings of Thieves Arrives series, and you can certainly expect content for that game when it drops later in October. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Flumpy Wumper, out.